This is Ghana Great and Strong. The one program that is not partisan focused. The one program whose only intent is to say what will make our country great and strong and all of its people prosperous. And yabaka fancy kakra wo hin jumeziro. And somehow I kodo kakra nibi na mepede yabobodo kakra oye yabaka brofo na yabaka fancy so sende and some nibi wo hwa mepede ewa enti brofo no ana abre brofo te no also atibi yaka sika sam ho kakra on cherry biara and some be abasino kwa yetiti ejumoku bi ha wose God is Love Fun Club ebi ha wose DKM ebinum oye microfinance companies ebi so ho eboko ebi no wose o bank bi no wa ha na we gwan ko audience ka ko bisa na oya aba banka no abodini bi ehu de etizini wara ehu de ezini no onye bank bia na ezini na abadini bank Ghana ha yewo ejumoku ahro na se onye banka odikan onye de yefra na bank yewo oya microfinance companies in the Bank of Ghana, omo itum krate license. Don't fanka yejuma. The microfinance companies, you know, also no one was no what's one to donara. What's there 1 year there? What's the bossa na deba ma binum? The binum sto obey a susu. Nanka kahona azi na what's the when you ska na wada maybe num da what's mo na bossa don't find one friends mo djuma na so microfinance companies bi mo ho a anwon why ho de there anwon so to there rural bank na so bank ahorowa wo many the GN bank na so Barclays bank mo yin there bi mpo wo hwewa mo check the current account. Now, so microfinance companies say them no other way. It's here with microfinance companies. And I feel so your rural bank. Rural bank. Eko ebi ho abokobi or rural bank. Be eko commander or Akatechiman rural bank. What also our Ghana main. The rural bank no. Honestly, woman itum krate woman licenser baby wo won onyi da wo fi ho emfande se rural bank bi o watamale a ontum mfitamale no nkoboye nkrobata ana branch e won kran abrofo bakade oye territorial defined ana geography defined onwanzi wo baby a order wo ye djuma no the one to krate ma hona no order wo yeduma wo enti rural bank bi on to mfi Kumasi na onkoboy nkrobata wo bolga and one was the most not in now if you rural bank so and akọ savings and loans company na savings and loans company no ono so wonozi ne so ne tuma waziman o woni sika over there or the court to Bank of Ghana or to what ne dwetire odi edwuma no onyi na ono so senisika no ondu hwa Bank of Ghana on money tum krate Bank of Ghana so ofi bear to bra okodoko okaye ne edwuma no mu hwehwem afibia so over there ehona wo ye audit woko na woko hwehwe ehunu adwuma no mu sikasɛm na wɔdze ne ho nsunsuando wɔdze kama Bank of Ghana ɛkɔ savings and loan company biara so no officer ɛkɔ hɔ ɛbɛhu dɛ waka kyerɛ hɔn dɛ wɔn audited accounts anaso wɔn sikasɛm no hwehwɛmu sunsuando no wɔdze ato krataa do na ɔfamba no ho ɛwɔ hɔ ɛkɔ ɛbɛhu dɛ dza wɔreyɛ no wonya ho mfaso anaa na wonya ho mfaso na ɔno so Bank of Ghana na ɔmo hɔ no tu krataa license dɛ wɔmfa yɛ adwuma efi hɔ a ansa na akɔ ma wɔfrɛ no Universal Bank no ɔno nye dza ehu dɛ sika a wɔsi Universal Bank ɔmfa nto hɔ ansa na Bank of Ghana ama hɔ no tu krataa ma ɔdze ayɛ adwuma no ɔno ndɛ ɔbor 100 million Ghana cedis Ghana cedis cedi foforɔ no million 100 million na ɔdɛ ɛdze to hɔ ansa na wama otum krataa ndɛ krampo ɔbor ɔno na wɔn a wɔfa hɔ Universal Bank no ɔhɔn no ɛna GN Bank ka ho Barclays Bank ka ho GCB ka ho ɛna ne ka ho eyirimi ɛna wɔfra hɔ no bank nti no so obi ba na ɔsɛ dɛ mebobue bank ɔde ebisa no dɛ ɛte dɛ GCB a ɛte dɛ GN Bank a ɛte dɛ Prudential Bank a wotum krataa ɛwɔ hen sika hen na ɛde to hɔ merkadam da kyekye mu sɛndɛ yɛn nuanom binom wɔayɛ ho adwen dɛ wɔkɔ aprɔ Ghana mayim wɔkanya nkateesia na mbrɛntie bi wɔahyɛ hɔn uniform dze ntara ahyɛ hɔn dɛ wɔnkɔ aprɔ no wɔka gye sika na wɔka gye sika no a bisa wo ho dɛ sika no wɔdze yɛ dɛn wɔdze ma hɔn a abrɛnkɔfo ana wɔama wɔn ntete dɛ sɛ sika no ba na wɔdze ma bi dɛ ɔmfa nka di gua anaa ɔmfa nka yɛ adwuma a wɔbɛhwɛ ma sika no wɔasɛ n'ekyir wɔaba iyi yɛ asɛm kɛse ɔyɛ adze kɛse ɛnkankan wɔ ɛma no ɔte dɛ Ghana mu ɔsɛn dɛ sikasɛm no ho ahokyere no ɔfɛ bere to bere a ɔba na yɛ Ghana nkotsee ɛna dɛm ɛhɔ no ɔba yɛ Ghana nkotsee dɛm hɔ no ɛkɔ English mɛma ɔyɛ ɔba America mɛma ɔyɛ ɔba ma mehwɛ ma kyerɛ nyi dɛ ɔfɛ bere to bere a ɔba wɔ nkuro ahorow mu na sɛ ɔba abradze ɛna ɔyɛ Bank of Ghana ɔtumi yɛ wɔ ho anaa dɛ wɔn a wɔwɔ wɔn nso wɔte dɛ Bank of Ghana ma wɔwɔ America anaa ma wɔwɔ English mɛm anaa ma wɔwɔ French mɛm abradze na wɔtumi wɔyɛ ɛna aban na nkasa so abradze na ɔtumi wɔyɛ nti mpɛrɛ ma no ho mfato ho na mɛka kyerɛw senti kora ɔde yɛyɛ ahwɛ yie ɛwɔ Ghana mɛm senti kora ɔde very 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 careful with our money wɔ Ghana mɛm sɛ kɔ America mɛm a obi mpɔt dɛ GN Bank anaa Barclays Bank anaa GCB no wɔ bibi wɔfrɛ wɔn depositors insurance ɔkyerɛ dɛ bank fo wɔdze bibi to hɔ a ɔyɛ wɔn central bank wɔn wɔdze bibi to hɔ a ɔdze wo sika de bakɔ to hɔ no wɔdze ne ho insurance so wɔdze to ho ama sɛ daakye sɛ dɛm bank no ogu anaa adwuma no ɔsɛe a ɛwɔ a ɛdze wo sika akɔto hɔ no wɔtum wɔdze ɔnam insurance no ho wɔdze wo sika bi wɔdze ma ɛma wo sika no wɔdze ma wɔtum akyerɛw dɛ dɛm bank yi ɛdze kɔto hɔ a ebi a sika ɔha apem ɔha wɔtum akɔ akagye hɔ adze wɔsɛn dɛ wɔn ho insurance wɔ ho megye sɛ mmɛka no dɛ amanfo mpere mu hu dɛ sɛ wɔte aseɛ anaa dɛ wɔnte aseɛ ma wɔhwɛ aka nye dɛ wo sika dɛ bɛkɔto bank no deposit na bɛkɔto hɔ no wɔwɔ ne ho insurance nanso Ghana mɛmu no sika na yɛdze kɔto bank no onye ho insurance onyine ho insurance ono nso na ode ye no ho ahweye Ghana ha yenye depositor ana so sika ezikoto bank no ezikoto savings or current account or yenye no insurance banana Bank of Ghana offer no ho adwen de sika eziko bank Universal Bank no obenye no ho insurance nso chere savings and loans company insurance in you rural bank insurance in you microfinance company insurance in you merkadama sende ati usika zikam obi a ya hweye hwehweme ansana usika na ahwe wanyim fifiri no ade kesi obi nsem don hwedo mfamo na da achi bi ababaji ono yakor yenye insurance o bank ejuma ho wa Ghana otode bien se ekwa America mem dem osi onchere biara osi ba yemfi ebas anana enum osi wa America there one bank sa akasibi nche won ejuma no orugu nche ejuma no orugu na ejuma no orugu no America aban onaran kasa okohwe sika no the cashier dam bank ejumanim America abanara ohwe sika kase o the cashier dam bank ejumanim ozma hon ebinu kwampo kada mara motor shares wom ebiso ho ozma hon de odam hon loan odam hon de won fan ye ejuma na bo wi a obutie won sika na mo iyi America ban oye na Ghana abanara kasa na ose ne sika sam no ho akire ahokyira abanara ne sika sam ho enti no se bank bi gu microfinance company bi gu savings and loans company bi so ogwa Ghana aban onye sika biara wo bebi a all ka fana dama de je de fekesesi we dwumanim Jizira American obiara wati America nasi de ode ya hweye onam de mentir no se yerka da wesi enye wo bronga hafu kutin ye wo upper western kutin o se de zoro kodo na ebinim di ye nuanu ebinim wo sika gungwan anaso ejuma no wegu o se de wontu ahwede yie no orokodo wo finfin manto okodo wo santi mantem ho bronga hafu enkran na nekeka ho hia orokodo na so orokodo na se wa ban wo ho na se bibi otedam no wesi na yerka onye da abano oyehwede onwona worka no wompem asam anade opede enkofo obomezine bon nti da worka Debbie de ka de yenya no ho bibia ye baye madam dam azina osinu we fie do akọ o se do obizini signboard bi kesi ho de mmeye microfinance company ana mmeye savings and loans company ana abana ehu ana wona wo hwe hedo we meni we hu ana wona wo de mutum de wo hwe de medwuma no do no we hu onam de mentri na obi ma obi license also am a license no so also wa asudi bi odawodo na sa anhwe na ye ne ye na asam bi ba hawo bi ba woda ewo ye wodi de mutum na amo na abana oho no otobara no hwehwe me yi na oma dama hawo no ofihiado na afi ohwe so ma hawo fofor so badu bio iya na yina na yahwehwe nwaba nse DKO say God is Love Fun Club sabazo pi nara wozini pi wo na yerka nyide abanin ya hweye Bank of Ghana on ya hweye ahia so yen ya ahweye yen hwe ma bibi otedam no ebi nsi bio o send them or kodi ibiesida wagana me bianyim R5 bianyim peram na nka kan ho ibiesida ana nde we bi wasana bebi o bebi abako bia microfinance bebi abako bia also savings loan bebi abako bia osedam chere eware ma license no hwehwemi yansa na ma obi license ewo so ama license no kodaa na yenhwehwem ofi bi to bi yenhwehwem na hunde za warrior no konda onya no konda ana atwe ho aso anaso ama waye nsesen bi wa abada medwuma no iya na yɛreka na sɛ mama american sɛ wo so wɔ bi ka wɔ ho anaa pɛrɛ kyerɛ w'adwene wɔ ho a ɔno hɛn whatsapp number ɛbɔtum ɛdze w'adwene ɛdze aba 020 756 6185 ɔnyɛ 020 756 6185 wo so kyerɛ w'adwene na yɛhu wo so w'adwene wo so na ɔda nti mo yɛ ma aka dɛ hɛn ɔmanpanyin John Dramani Mahama ɔnkyerɛ bia ɔnye nsɛnkyerɛwfo na hɔn a wɔwɔ TV do na radio do wɔkɛyɛ nhyiamu wɔ nkran no ɔno ma na ɔhwɛ akanyi dɛ ebinom ukita wɔn camera wɔn radio ndzama na adze wɔdze wɔn pen na adze wɔdze nenam ana wɔdze dam sikasam ho ɛhawi DKM na no nka ho asam no wɔdze yɛ politics ana wɔrehwɛ ma aba no n'enyim wegu ase mepɛrɛ mɛka kyerɛ hɛn no mampanyin John Dramani Mahama dada ma asam no ɔkan no yɛ no kondo o sɛ na nkyɛ ɔdɛ ɔbɔ nsɛm a nsɛnkyerɛwfo no ɔwɔ no mmom ana wɔapa ɛhɔ no ho tam ma obiara wehu ɔwɔ no wa manyɛ nyinaa wegboe nkɔfo obiara n'enyiwa dɛ dɛm ɛhɔ kɛse no ɔrekɔ do ɔnyɛ nsɛnkyerɛwfo a nkyɛ yɛnyim dza obesi ɛwɔ brɔng ahafo hɔ yɛnyim dza obesi wɔ upper west yɛnyim dza obesi wɔ central region na ne nkeka ho na sɛ biribi dɛm wapa ho tam ma yɛnhia yɛhu a ɔwɔ dɛ nkyɛ aban ɔda nsɛnkyerɛwfo no ase dɛ biribi a ɔte dɛm no ɔda aba bɛyɛ nyinaa yɛhu dza ɔrekɔ do na aban mpo bi a wɔafrɛfrɛ nsɛnkyerɛwfo no mu binom na wɔtie dza ho wɔnyim anaa dza wɔate dɛm na ɔdɔ ɔba no ɔnyɛ biribiara na ɔde yɛdze for politics dabi obi ne sika ɛhɔ aba da hɔ no binom wɔawu wɔahwere wɔn nkwa kɔ a nti mesrɛ wɔn ara dɛm asɛm no yɛreka yɛnhwɛ ne yɛnka ne yie sɛ dɛ ɛwɔ a abrɛ ayɛ adwuma anya wo sika kakra a ɛmpɛ dɛ obi ɔsɛ wo sika kɔ a na ɔma ɔhyew dabi ɔno nso na ɛhɛn no mihia mu binom Ghanafo yɛdze GN Bank yɛdze abobɔ adze na abebiara yɛtu yɛn nkurɔfofo abebiara yɛhwehwɛ hɛn adwuma no mu abebiara yɛhwɛ biribi foforɔ a yɛbɛyɛ a ɔbɛma obi ne sika ɔdze abrɛ hɛn de yɛmfa nsie ma no ɔbɛma ahokyere biara ankaba ɛhɔ biara ankaba ama obiara ba biribiara obi baba no wɔhu dɛ ne sika no ɔda hɔ ɔretwa dɛm na ɔde yɛhwɛ ma ɔba no yɛbɛkɔ akagye yɛahom kakra na yɛkanya biribi kakra ɛfi adwumakuro ahorow a wɔboɔ hɛn wɔ dɛm Ghana Great and Strong dwumadzi na yɛasɛn yɛkyi no yɛaba no yɛba yɛm dɛ ebinom wɔ hɔ a wɔahyɛ ase dɛ wɔfrɛ m wɔ telephone no do mesrɛ wɔn ara telephone no mbere no ɔndui na me WhatsApp line no a mɛsɛ dɛ wɔmfa wo message kakra pɛ dɛ dze brɛ me fafam na wona ebinom wɔafa dɛm nɔma dɛ medze mɛn no na wɔdze frafra mesrɛ wɔn ara wɔanyim dzi mara mɛmfrɛ m wɔ dɛm nɔma no do sɛ dɛ ɛhɔ no na nkɔfo hɔn message wɔaba no ɛhɔ aso na ɔreduare ba ametu no ma kenkane bi na medze akyerɛ obiara a ɔretie anaaso ɔrehwɛ hɛn enyibiri nti hɔn ase wɔ ho. I just went through a little bit of a discussion on the let's call it the banking or financial challenges that we have had in the country and continue to have, especially as it has to do with the microfinance companies and some of those companies that people call banks. And when we talk about those kinds of situations, what I have said, which I said in Fanti, is that in Ghana, unlike in other countries like the UK and America, we do not have anything like depositors insurance. And in America, there is depositors insurance. Depositors insurance, if a bank collapses and your money is there, up to a certain limit, you are able to get some money back. So your money, it just doesn't go away just like that. In Ghana, we do not have depositors insurance. And so if you are giving your money to a microfinance company, to a rural bank, to a savings and loans company, to a universal bank, that you can't just, you have to be careful. You have to be careful. And you have to take a look at how they conduct their business. You have to look at the audited accounts that they are supposed to paste in their banking halls, and so on and so forth, before you give them the money. Because if there's a problem, a big problem, you might not get your money back. The second reason I gave why we must be careful is that in Ghana, again, unlike in the US, where when there was a financial crisis and some banks were about to collapse, the American government took money, taxpayers' money, and gave it to those banks to strengthen themselves, some to buy shares, some to give us loans, so that they can become strengthened, so they don't collapse and then continue. Here in Ghana, the government itself is facing financial challenges and is having to go to the IMF and other people to get money. So if a bank is collapsing, if a microfinance company is collapsing, if a savings and loans company is collapsing, the Ghana government cannot do what the American government was able to do. And also because of all of that, then whoever is giving a license to people, which in this case is Bank of Ghana, must strengthen itself and be able to review those it gives licenses to on a regular basis, and ensure that they are still able to perform. And then the government of Ghana also must be able to check to make sure that those who do business where they are not supposed to, they don't do it. As an American on our end. Now, obi di bibi babram, pera makan kan ma di kira hon. Na makan kan brofum owi a ma hwede motu ma cheche mu kakra e wo fanti mu so a. Osede doctor bi oye juma wo Kolebu Teaching Hospital or a neurosurgeon. The papa no fa na Teddy Totime. Ono na ochro the mati. Na me peda makan kan ma di kira. So the doctor's name, he is a neurosurgeon at Kolebu Teaching Hospital. His name is Teddy Totime. And he wrote on January 18th. And this is what he said. I think I should remind everyone that there are more than 100 doctors sitting at home unemployed, waiting for their appointment letters so they can start working earliest May 2016. They graduated from medical school in December last year. Most of them have been isolated from public life for the last 4 to 6 years, learning about the human body. They were busy people who were hardly seen by their non-medical student colleagues, now unemployed at home with nothing planned to do. I wonder how each day goes. By the time those who decide to stay start working, they will be 6 months stale. Reflexes will be lost. Details would have been relearned, would have to be relearned. It would make an already stressful and depressing internship harder. And it is the patients who will bear the brunt. These doctors' salaries will delay another 9 months until all the frustration stored over a year and a half of feeling uncatered for boils over in a strike. Incidentally, we have a yellow fever outbreak. This disease, which has an unrecognizable name because it is supposed to be extinct, is in a region far from has broken out in our country. It is in a region far from Accra, but Ghana is a small country now. There is an airport in Sunyani, and no one checks for yellow fever immunization at the domestic airports. In fact, even for the international traveler, it is possible to pay some dollars at the arrival hall to a uniformed official and enter the country without any further attempt at checking immunization status. These new doctors, he writes, have the most current information about yellow fever. They just wrote exams about these diseases causing organisms a few months ago. They are at the cusp of history. A yellow fever outbreak may never happen again in their lifetime. If the Ghana I dream about actualizes, but here they are in their homes with the burden of unemployment. Unemployed doctors in a country with 5,000 of them for 25 million people. And the amazing propensity we have as a country for wastes continues to amaze me. This was written by a neurosurgeon called Dr. Teddy Totime. I'd like to explain this a little bit in Fanti. And let me remind everyone that the WhatsApp line, it's not a telephone line. The WhatsApp, the line for taking text messages. Please don't call, as some people still keep calling that number. It's a WhatsApp line that's for sending me messages so I can read some of them to the listening and to the watching public. That number is 020-756-6185. The number again is 020-756-6185. That is the number for you to use in sending me a text message, a WhatsApp line. That's what we use for text messages, not for phone calls. Well, let me explain a little bit about this neurosurgeons thing. Morha Kanyede. Opero biara otene ho ase biara the Ghana highway. Your doctors, medical doctors. Wobur oha 100 wobur oha. What's in a fee? 1 year fee? So the working appointment letters tum krata bi working ono ansana wako to wotu akaye dwuma. Na order working na bosum otodo enum May ansana ho binum wetum na wako adwuma. Na dem kofi watsna school bi mfia na mfia sia waye wesuadze wonyim yerba horo no the other way what the sa obi no ho yerba na so inde wotsena fie na ikro a ye wo doctors apem enum 5,000 per manyimpa wo ye 24 million yes dan na ye hwema doctors wo bro ha wotsena fie a wo hwene krata wo da akwa kai adwuma wa abra yerba horo orokodo ewo emenima yehuna no mebinum wo hwere won nkwa And there was meningitis biaba. If you know yellow fever biaba, then kaka ehia record manto bia ebi pepem ma binom wo hwe hono kwa ma orehwe aka anyi de abadintir na ekro wote da ma yehia a doctor for near ma ebinom wote na fi awor so for wadwen for bubu iyi doctor was offer na Teddy Totime ono no cafe odibe ya obi odibram na mo so medamo de yehia yendwen ho na yenhwe ma za owode yeye wo meimu no yehwe monye na za odo osiso yehwe monu na ombra. I have some text messages. Let me read some of them to you. There is a message from well, the person hasn't given me his name, but what he says is, Dr. Ndom, good evening. Please, I'm in the Upper West region, and what I want to find out is that, is it that before a country like DKM started operating, Bank of Ghana didn't do background checks before issuing permit for them to work? That was his first question. Then number two, where were Bank of Ghana looking? Where were they looking when they were going contrary to what they were allowed to do? And the man says, Abba. He says, well, I can't read all of it, but it says, even Bank of Ghana. Well, Morio on Munas Morio Bisani there. Ansana Bank of Ghana. Orma DKM tum krate da one chassis 1 year jumano. And a Bank of Ghana name Shumuna Oyeno. Why any year na? I feel so oside. I bred DKM. What shall say there? Warriors are only the wayen. And a Bank of Ghana. Unyuwa na. I want to know what's the home way that has. My friend, that's as they say, it's a good question. But that is why I am saying that you and I, we must be careful where we put our money. And yes, DKM had a license from the Bank of Ghana. And as a result, it was the responsibility of the Bank of Ghana to make sure that they remained in good standing. I believe, because I'm in the business of banking, I believe that we need to strengthen the Bank of Ghana some more. That the Bank of Ghana needs to get more people who are qualified, and it needs to do much more regular work. But you know, if you look at these microfinance companies, there are so many of them, so many, that there might need to be a whole separate organization set up just to cater for these microfinance companies. Because now you have microfinance companies, you have rural banks, you have savings and loans companies, you have the universal banks. The numbers keep growing, and it's the same Bank of Ghana that is looking after all of them. Same Bank of Ghana. And I know that if what Bank of Ghana does with the universal banks, if it did the same things and had the same amount of time with the microfinance companies, these problems might not arise. So the work is so much that perhaps we need to strengthen and increase the people associated with regulating these microfinance companies so the work can be done well. But then we should also look at perhaps restricting the numbers so that it doesn't seem as if every day 10, 20, 50 more are showing up everywhere. But there also needs to be the other side of prevention. So if somebody also shows up and says, I'm a microfinance company, but they don't have the authority, then the government of Ghana must be quick with the law enforcement agencies to close them down. So this is a serious matter, and we should not play with it. Someone is just asking me a question. First of all, he says, I salute Dr. Pakwesindom. Then, well, he says, I'm a nation builder and a visionary. Thank you very much for that. But he's asking me, please, where is GN Bank in Kumasi? Well, GN Bank is in a number of places in Kumasi and surrounding areas. It's in Edum. It's in Edum. It's also at Roman Hill. It's there. And in Edum, it's not far from where Gold Coast Securities or Gold Coast Fund Management is. I know it's in Kwadaso and it's in other areas as well. Well, Tanko Ayuba from Bibiani, he says, some people, some Ghanaians are easily convinced by fraudulent microfinance companies. Thank you for your well-informed message about the savings challenges we are facing in Ghana here. That's Tanko Ayuba. Then he wants to know, Tanko wants to know if an overdraft account is accessible at GN Bank. And well, the simple answer is yes. But of course, there are conditions that a person must go through in order to get an overdraft facility from GN Bank. Stephen K. Ajay from Valley View University, Techiman campus. Stephen says, good evening, Daddy. I think the steps by the Bank of Ghana to introduce deposit insurance is very laudable. But my question is, why should our leaders or institutions only take steps after havoc has been caused? Well, yes, I understand, Stephen, I understand your message. I understand that, yes, we should not wait for problems to come. But the fact of the matter today is that there is a problem, and it's a big problem. Asam no oda hon, onya asam kakraba. Nti ne mehia mehwehwe ya kan yi de. Onya de yesre Bank of Ghana. Onya de yesre Ghana government. Osendo oye hona sudi. Oye hona sudi. It's their responsibility. Do wo hwe. Osendo won wo wotum. De wo hwe de ehobiaramba hene sika ho. Said Wusika Koto, Sika Krabia, so a microfinance or savings and loan or rural bank or universal bank or a Abana Sadi and Enkankara or a Bank of Ghana Nasadi, don't wash the Hobiara Emba, and also the Obi, Onka the major money be only in Hutum, don't be it's or there a Bribiara and Sarah Kohun, a general Kohun, and you are Kohun. But then the depositors insurance idea, it should not be one that we keep studying. Now we all know it's necessary. So I am hoping that the Bank of Ghana will come up with this thing and make sure that it is going on. It's important. Someone also wants to. Anyway, he just says, Dr. Ndom, I wish you all the best. We are proud of you. Keep it up. But he's saying, I am pleading for GN Bank to come to Dambai. I'll keep the message and I'll pass it on to the people who need to get that particular message. Ewa Ike, I think that is the name, from Kumasi. He says, please, how do you see the nation's economy? Is it true you want to retire from politics? Why, when we need you most? And can you explain why I must invest at GN Bank? So there's a lot of questions in one. First of all, our economy, we all know it's weak. It's weak. If our economy was strong, we wouldn't go to the IMF. We have difficulties. The difficulties, they are the reasons why government is now, as it says, it's plugging some holes that where there were some subsidies or it was helping people with, whether it was with petrol or with the utilities, water, and electricity and so on and so forth, government now says it doesn't have the strength, financial strength, to subsidize anything, so we must pay. Okay, we must pay. That's what it's saying to us. So the economy is in distress, yes. The government also says it needs to raise taxes. And so it has raised taxes also. Well, when an economy is in distress, that's what the leaders do. When you go to other countries, because the economy is doing well or they have a different approach, they rather reduce taxes. If you have been listening to the debates going on, the Republican presidential debates, and the debates by the Democrats, those who want to become president in the United States of America, one of the topics that they keep talking about is how to reduce taxes, not how to raise, how to reduce taxes so that small businesses can have the strength to grow, so that people can save, so that people can invest. That's what a strong economy does. So therefore, our economy is not strong enough. We are kind of Henisika Samunu who a whole also put the Miss Henisika Samu, then a whole on in Sirnaban, Odzi a two, other to a todo. Emma says Yara, Osientia, a two more, from Aban. Wabra, and when Sika Samunu, no, who ye, today America Day, and when work you there, and one of Peter Woods, your man paying America. So it's when you ask Sama. Obia nkajina baby nkaka de eme a tulu back home, but you a tono case. Only now, what pede, what's sodo? What's sodo? Ama Nkwana, or Jumacun, Kakrama, when you are at home. No, why Jumana be a Kahuna one saw, who's Kakrano so when you be now without twin chen, Amadachi, we hear one saka. Now, also there, me peda moko, Amanya Samano. Mpere mo kono ho retirement meka jima hom bo ho on mom ze ho no do no onye no kwar de moko politics no ho retirement dey bi on moko politics no ho retirement onye yi na mom ma aka de de abibiare mbe gina de wonto abama no ono orange area yebudu da member no yesesiara ya 2016 yebudu da member na mbeje onu mumama hen mofroma hen bentie ne kitisiama no wo Progressive People's Party no mo hon wa benyim sende emuso benyu efie o de yetiti binum mo won so woba no obedi hen amanyeku nanyim nti ebodu ho yedu ho a ono musu mejem Sesiara ye will be no ma we papa. Sometimes some people say that, oh, I'm alone in the party. Definitely not. We have some brilliant young men and women in the Progressive People's Party who we are educating the right way, bringing them up. And then soon some of us will take a back seat for them to lead. As for GN Bank, not only is it coming up, but in a few months, we are going to put GN Bank on the Ghana Stock Exchange so that anyone who wants to buy shares in GN Bank can do so, because we want it to be truly the people's bank. We want to share some of the things that we're doing with anyone who wants a safe investment. But then the bank is strong. It's strong. We have good capital. And that is why we are able to now go from town to town, and you can now find GN Bank everywhere in Ghana. there's someone called Chief from Brekum, Amangwasi. He says, good evening, Papa. Please, I'm confused as to why we can't set up a platform to educate people about microfinance operations. Well, that's why I've taken a bit of time this evening to try to talk about this. And anytime I get a chance, I talk about it because it's an important matter. The small monies that people have, why should we allow anyone to mess around with it? We shouldn't. And importantly, we shouldn't play politics with it. Larry from Anya Sotum, he says, good evening. This, I believe, is one of the institutional failures that we have in this country. If the Monitoring and Supervision Department of Bank of Ghana failed to do its work, hence the current happenings in this country, we're going to have difficulties. And you know, this whole thing about monitoring and supervision on the part of law enforcement agencies, I don't just want to talk about Bank of Ghana. We have law enforcement agencies. So Government of Ghana has a responsibility. We have Bank of Ghana. So Bank of Ghana has a responsibility. But we must allow them, those institutions, to become strengthened. And we should all talk in that area and encourage them to do more. And that's what I hope I'm doing this evening, is pointing out what is it that needs to be done. I'm not interested in, blaming people left and right, but we must put the responsibility where it belongs. Ewa asudzi oda odo no, ode ekachro, de yasrawara, ejumano, hwe na ye niye. O sende amanfo, wanonkwa, amanfo, wani bibiara, obi nisika kakra wenya, na ofo nkoto baby, na wonhwe dem man na oya wabaji, de kotu ene ba school fees, odze ahwe na ejuma bi do. Ana odze ene bibia ohia na, ana obi abaji na weegwan iyi yempedo osi, ana so okodusi ewa Ghana main. Frank from Kaswa says, good evening, Dr. Indom, and a very nice program. God bless you for your good works. Nurses, including other health professionals, are in the house, whilst the ordinary poor patient is suffering in our hospitals. I ask, when are they going to post these nurses? Frank, I guess you are confirming what Dr. Totime wrote. So if nurses are at home, if doctors are at home, who is doing this? Who is going to see to it that they go where they are supposed to? Frank Rasmo can there, nurses so, so, what's in the fear? Why bra? Why bra? And call for a year for hospital. We hear Obinum Oboshaman. And now, all those the woman or ma the monk of okay, Jumano, the someone are 1 year. Send us a yerba boa. I asked some cacraba. I got a name so 1 year one so 1 dorsum. 1 dorsum. 1 hour where nurses for 1 hour what doctors no dorsum. Someone says Mark Abraham, I think that's the name. He's asking the question, Doctor, is it true that GN Bank is yours? Well, let me say that I am one of the shareholders of GN Bank, and again, one of the principal founders of GN Bank, and I'm proud of GN Bank and proud of the people who work there, the management and the staff, because we are all serious about making sure that we build a strong financial institution in Ghana that is owned by Ghanaians. Most big countries that you see that are doing well, they have banks, big banks, that are owned by their own citizens, so that monies that they earn will stay in the country for development. So when we say Barclays Bank, where did Barclays Bank come from? Barclays Bank, it was an English bank. When you say JP Morgan, and so on and so forth, JP Morgan is an American bank, named after an American man, and it's big. In America, you have Bank of America and so on and so forth, Wells Fargo. They are big American banks. They help America. They make money in America. It stays in America. You have Japanese banks, big banks. Their money stay in Japan. So in Ghana, we must also support our own. And GN Bank is one of those banks we want to build it to become a big, strong, responsible, disciplined bank. He's also asking Papa Akwesi, I don't know why Ghanaians don't want to vote you to become president of the Republic of Ghana. That will be the topic for another discussion. Today, we're talking finance, we're talking some other things. Someone is asking the question, is it true that I initiated NHIS during President Kufuor's tenure of office? Tanko, that is not correct. I did not initiate NHIS. What I initiated is what has now turned out to become the National Identification Authority. So when it comes to national identification, yes, that one I was responsible for initiating and worked with other people to bring that idea up. And I am still an advocate of that, because it will bring greater discipline if we prioritize funding the National Identification Authority, making it strong enough, making it be able to do its job. We will bring greater discipline into our society, and not just having identification for voting purposes, but for ensuring that our financial system is strong, our lending system is strong, and many things are strong in our society. There's Robson from Sekondi Takoradi says, good evening, Dr. Ndrom, and congratulations. I am an economic graduate from the University of Ghana, and I want to be employed in any GN bank. Please, I want to know the procedure. Well, we do have a human resource department in Accra. You can also channel your application through any of our offices. And what we do, you take an aptitude test, and then you are interviewed. And if you are found to be someone who should work with us, then when there is a vacancy, you are employed. It's a process that people would need to go through. Thank you for your interest. Iwa Ike from Kumasi says, Doctor, well, he is saying, please, can you organize a forum nationwide lecturing Ghanaians about investment and economic financial management? Well, thank you. I'll think about it. But then anytime I get the opportunity to talk to people about investment, about starting a business, about financial and investment matters, anytime I get that opportunity, I take it up. But I'll think about this. I am writing a little booklet about investment and about starting a business. So that, I hope, by the middle of this year, I'll have something now that can guide people who are interested in starting a business or thinking about it, or who want to be good employees, because being a good employee is something that is very, very important as well. Nana Say from Nkranza says, the BOG decision, or Bank of Ghana decision, to close the microfinance companies in Brongahafo was a deliberate policy to impoverish the masses, but not the company owners themselves. They have really caused hardship in BA. Well, and I say I do understand the havoc, the difficulties, the challenges that have been caused by these microfinance companies. We all need to pay attention to it. We need to keep talking about it. But the agencies responsible must find ways of dealing with this, not just solving the problem that we're facing now, but also preventing these problems from coming up again. Well, this is where we would need to leave our program, Ghana Great and Strong, this evening. And the asama ibakeno na dodo nara ofane sikasam the microfinance asam na mpeda mechechi mekakra na yehu so nko da microfinance, rural bank, savings and loan, universal bank wonin tim na afi so yaka sentil kra ode hina ye ya ahweye oh yes sika. That is very, 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 very important. And then well, there are many people who have sent all sorts of messages, and I thank you for sending the messages. Some of them I will take and apply them somewhere else. And anytime I have a program, I will not lose some of these messages. We'll try and answer the questions that you have. And if we're able to have another session, I'll try and bring some of your messages up again. And if there's some that I need to take anywhere, we'll try and take them to the right places so that our country can become great and strong and all of its people prosperous. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. My name is Papa Kwesi Endo.